explaining why you think you have the right to darken our doorway.
You can start by telling us what you think you'll get from this. Money? 10 seconds of fame for being a spiraling psycho at a country club soiree? You mess with the wrong damn family. And you better be smart and walk out the way you came.
Man, yo, look. I know. Everybody online is going nuts over this episode. Yo, the Nicole scenes, she killed it. Kat and Eva, their scene at the country club was great. Anita reading Leslie like a book, letting her know what's what, was amazing. Eva breaking down, mama. But look, this entire episode, everybody's like, Emmys. This person killed it. No. In my personal opinion, what makes this episode stand out from the rest is that there wasn't a single weak link. I think that from top to bottom, this episode was a banger. I'm recording this around 9 p.m. on the 5th of May, so it's the same day the episode dropped, episode 47. I have watched it 3 times. Yes, I did not watch it live. I was actually working on eBay stuff. But yeah, as soon as I checked my inbox on Instagram, people are like, yo, have you watched the episode yet? Have you watched it? And I said, nah, but as soon as it's on Paramount Plus, I watched it one time. You know me, I watch it at double speed, so I'm done within 20 minutes. But I actually went back and looked at it 2 more times at regular speed. Not because I missed anything. I think that I did a pretty stellar job on the notes because this episode, it was all about the aftermath of that disaster of an anniversary party. And I just got to say, bravo, 15 out of 10. Fantastic. Heck, I'd have just bumped 20 out of 10. This was just a fantastic episode all the way through. Even characters who didn't play that big of a role, they did what they needed to do and then some. Like, for example, Danny and her one-liners, those zingers she made were it's like well, what did she say? Leslie, I'm gonna go home. I need to find my baby girl and wrap my arms around her. Yeah, like a boa constrictor. Oh, was that Naomi that said that? I forgot who said it, but yeah, I think whoever said it, I was done. I think it was Naomi. But Smitty didn't have a big role, but he was just the form of loving comfort Martin needed to calm down. But I'd have to say, the part that I kept rewinding the most was Martin, the clip I played at the beginning of this video. Assuming that copyright doesn't get it taken down before I upload the video. But to me, that was my favorite part. Because there were so many layers to that moment. If you're smart, you walk out the way you came. I'm like, see, what set it off for me during that scene was that if you watch Tyler Perry's Zatima, specifically the last few episodes of season 3, you know the actor who plays Martin is the same actor that plays Fatima's obsessive ex-boyfriend Malachi, who is coming across as deranged. And knowing that Martin has this secret and obviously an underlying bad temper or anger management issue, that just adds extra weight to this. And what made this scene stand out to me wasn't just, I believe Brandon is the name of the actor. Brandon's acting in this scene, but the 2 nonverbal reactions from Vernon, who had the face of, oh no, I've seen this rageful side before. And then you have Leslie, who there were 2 ways to take her reaction. Either she was like actually taken aback and a bit, afraid of what Martin was saying, or she was looking at it from like, dang, what did I do to make this Negro that mad? And then it's almost like she kind of noticed how his grandparents were coddling him. So it's in a way, in her mind, I feel like she low key was taking notes of, Marty Marr or Brownie Boy has a short fuse on his temper. I might be able to use that. That was my interpretation of it. But yeah, overall, fantastic episode. Now, before we get into the review, I want to do a couple of quick reactions to episode 46, the episode from Friday, particularly two comments. Number one, somebody commented saying, hey, I didn't appreciate you talking about Eva having troll hair and combat boots and this, that, and the third. Basically, it was a comment insinuating that I was being insulting to a black woman. If you watch that review and listen thoroughly, you know when I made those remarks, I was stating them from the context of, oh, this is something that Kat would say. Because that's how she is. She's bougie and literally says snarky remarks like that when insulting people. That was not me, as a commentator, saying these things about Eva, the character. No. Those were statements as in, oh, I could see Kat saying those kind of things. Just to clear up any sort of confusion on that. Secondly, this one comment, I really loved it because to me, it's something I don't think I've ever heard before. The comment basically said, hey, I think the episode had you really hyped up, as it should. But there were several things you missed, and the thing about it is, I want more, because when it comes to reviews like this, you're that guy. But I think you just missed over some key points because of how hype you were in your review. Well, the thing with that is, holy crap, I've never had somebody say like, yo, you did a video that's almost 30 minutes long, but we want more. But the follow-up to that was, hey, I know I didn't talk about every little thing about the episode. That's because earlier today, I dropped about, 2 videos and 4 shorts, which were companion pieces to my episode review, because I kind of decided not to do like 40-minute reviews unless I need to. More often than not, the episode has parts that I could just kind of, breeze through. But when you have episodes like this, oh, that's not the case. So yeah, just want to address those couple things. And yeah, thank you for episode 46. That is the highest numbers in terms of reviews, at least on this channel. I don't know if I got any higher reviews on my main channel. I think 1 or 2 of my videos got 6,000 views, but here we are now. This episode review should do well too. So let's get into it, but make sure you take a moment to like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit that bell icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. And I gotta say, maybe I'm speaking for myself here, but I'm actually kind of glad we got Tuesday and Wednesday off in terms of no episodes, because I feel like we need those 2 days to process everything that is happening in episode 47. So, wow. Okay. Leslie, she walked right into the lion's den with a necklace of stakes around her neck, and she's expecting not to get mauled while she's in there. So as soon as she steps up in there, Martin is running to call the cops, but they're like, no, don't do it, because Leslie's like, oh yeah, I know you won't call the cops because, you don't want your neighbors to, have any prying eyes on what's going on. But Anita shuts that down right away. Like, I don't give a damn about the police in terms of, them looking looking at them coming over to our house. No, that's not it at all. And basically, Anita wants to hear what Leslie has to say, but also get her own word in too, because you're not just going to walk up into her home and, just speak your piece and walk out. Also, I did see some people hilariously comment about Chelsea over the weekend. It's like, is this girl brain dead or what? First of all, live streaming the family drama yet again. Like, she gets a pass at the wedding because she dropped her phone. And, hey, I get that. But in this situation, it's like the phone is in your hand. You see what's going on. Maybe cut the live off. Like the first few moments when Leslie's there, when Eva comes in, like, you got to get out of here. Like Nicole, she could have assumed, like everybody else in attendance, that this was just part of the surprise. But as soon as Leslie started airing out dirty laundry, cut that shit off. Like, cut it off. Because Naomi was there saying, do you really want to air out more family drama on the live? Oh, yeah, sorry. And then at the end of the episode, yeah, she gets the door. But I think that, her letting Leslie come in, she should have been like, wait right here. yeah, so you wouldn't believe who's at the front door. Should I let her in? What's going on? Basically, something like that. So, Chelsea, you look good, but you need to think harder. So, that's when we get to Martin going smooth off. Just letting her know you done effed around and you're about to find out that you messed with the wrong damn family. This is my favorite Martin scene. Don't get me wrong. I love the scenes where, he's a supportive dad and whatnot and, quote unquote, allows Smitty to go back to work. But this was just a scene where not only was it important because it gives us a small glimpse, well, probably our biggest glimpse ever into his major temper issues. I think the last time we kind of saw him go on bit unhinged was at the police station after Bill pressed charges on Danny and Vernon had to reel him in. But this time around, it was really personal because when you look at the scene again, you also look at it from the context of, oh yeah, that's right. This is the woman responsible for causing trauma to his parents' marriage, So as a result, he's taking it very personally. And on top of that, after learning he was a pawn in his dad's affair, like, hey, babe, I'm going to take Martin out to the diner. And then, they sat down with the nice waitress and whatnot. Yeah, he's taking it very personally, as he should. And I can completely understand his anger. So the fact that he went off the way he did, and you could just tell by Vernon's face that it's like, oh boy, here we go again. I gotta calm this boy down before he goes off. He's going to do something to Leslie that's going to involve another cover up with Bill's help. So we get Leslie just watching as Anita and Vernon try to call him, hey, cool waters. And then Leslie tries to speak up, choose silence. Look, I got to use that line. The way that Vernon went, choose silence. I'm like, oh, because Vernon knows you awaken the beast that who Martin it really is, and trust and believe you will not make it out of here in one piece. So you better choose silence and let us calm this fool down. So they eventually, calm him down. It's like, I'm needed at home. And it's like, look, you need our driver to take you home? No, I'll be fine. Call us when you get home. Oh, okay. So Martin up and leaves because, Leslie tries to get on him, about the brownies. And it's like, oh, you remember me? And it's like, yes, we go to the diner. And then this nice waitress always sit by my dad and then give me the brownie. And then it's just, oh man, lots of memories. So we can briefly segue to Martin and Smitty's house because Martin gets back and he is just in his feelings, to be blunt about it. And he takes a book off the shelf. I didn't quite get the title, but I believe it's a book that had, a message from his dad in it. And after reading a few lines, he tosses it. Then he starts, just taking books and chucking them all over the living room until Smitty comes in and tries to calm him down. Now, real quick, I got to mention this because this part took me out. I understand product placement, indoors, soaps paid for the series and whatnot, soap operas, detergent. I know all that stuff. But the fact that we did like a close up on a laundry basket in the living room with a big old bottle of Tide while Martin was sitting on the couch before he crashed out. Was I the only one thinking he was going to take that basket and yeet it across the living room along with them books? I thought he was literally going to just tear everything up, including the kitchen sink, rip it out of the wall and toss it. He was going ham. But then Smitty comes in and, just kind of calms him down. And essentially Smitty plays the role to reassure Martin that, look, where's this coming from? My dad. It's like, I can't believe what happened tonight. It's like my mom, it's everything. It's like, look, you're not alone through this. I was so close to singing Michael Jackson, You Are Not Alone, but I always remember not to sing. So yeah, that's essentially what it boils down to. Like, look, the kids, they're at a play and whatnot, so we got time to clean this place up. So they, the rest of the episode is spent with them picking up the books that Martin threw on the floor. So that's pretty much all for that storyline there. Okay, so back over at the Dupree estate. You have Leslie who, because as soon as Martin left, Anita's like, well, okay, all eyes are on you. Time for you to explain why you came to our front door? Like, what's the end game here? And then she pretty much explains, and she shows proof with the DNA test and birth certificate, which is very telling. Apparently, Kat and Eva were only a week or two apart in terms of their birth. So yeah, just a week or two separates them from when they were born. Now, there are a lot of people that theorize a lot of things, like what if Eva is actually Nicole's daughter? Some people are speculating, oh, what if Leslie did get the abortion, but she portrayed her, I don't know, maybe Lulu or another name. She got into her bag of personas and, was a fake nurse who took one of Nicole's miscarriages that turned out to not be dead. And I don't know, it's just a whole bunch of theories running around here. But essentially, she's trying to claim like Eva's birthright or whatever. And this is something that I don't think was directly called out in the episode. You had like Danny and some of the girls making like snarky remarks, but no one straight up told Leslie that, hey, so essentially you did all this in order to secure a seat at the Dupree table for your daughter. Basically, yeah, the birthday parties and, the celebrations and the family cookouts and whatnot, and where she could be with her cousins and yada, 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 because, gives her the attention she deserves. Basically, give her the life she deserves. But it's like, Ted ain't a Dupree. That's the major fault. That's the major fault in your plan. And low key, look, I want to be real. I don't think Nicole and Ted are going to get a divorce. If I'm just being completely honest, I don't think they will. But let's say, for the sake of argument, they do. Nicole and Ted get a divorce. Then guess what? Eva has zero ties to the Duprees. Yeah, okay, she's Martin and Kat's half sister. Okay, but she's not born on the side of the tracks that they were via Dupree, aka Nicole. So you literally accomplished nothing. Yeah, you exposed Ted's affair, but I mean, like I said, even if him and Nicole don't get a divorce, that doesn't entitle Eva to anything Dupree related. At best, obviously she's over the age of 18, so is it possible to sue for like back child support or something? I don't know. I really don't know. But I know every state has its own rules and this, that, and the third, but her plan makes no sense. And how many episode reviews have I said, like, Leslie's plan doesn't add up? And like with Eva, I am glad that the DNA test results finally came back. But yeah, this is just really weird. So she wants her daughter to get all the attention she deserves and to not be shut out. But I love how, and she's like, you know what? I love her so much. And she's out there right now. She needs her mom. And I just want to wrap my arms around her like a boa constrictor. Again, that line took me out. But then after that, she pretty much like, please, just some understanding. And don't blame Eva for any of this. And then she decides, and she turns to leave. But then Anita, again, like, no. You don't get to come in here on your own, free will, speak your mind, and then not let me say what I want to say in my own house. So Anita, when she put that finger up and said, I sat down myself and like, oh, let me be quiet and let her speak. She basically ripped into Leslie for using her daughter as a weapon. Basically, like, you come here under the guise of, oh yeah, you want to secure a better life for your daughter and you love your daughter. And yeah, no, this was nothing but a way to secure yourself a place in the lap of luxury. You came using your daughter as a weapon to get petty revenge. That's all it was. Yeah, you had decades to prepare that speech and whatnot. It's not going to work. And you know what? Because that was your end game, but you know the worst part about it? You embarrassed the Duprees. You hurt the Duprees. And where do you think that's going to leave you? Low key, and just to paraphrase, Anita's like, you're screwed. I saw one tweet that was so accurate. You won't be able to order a French fry at the diner because of what you did. Like, oh, you exposed Ted, but you hurt Nicole. Aha, you pretty much exposed Ted's secret daughter. Again, Leslie, you have no idea what you did. At this point, you better ask somebody. Eva, Leslie. It's funny because fast forward to the end of the episode where she locked her own daughter out. I'm like, you better not lock your daughter out because you and her, she's all you got. Because Mona ain't going to want to have a damn thing to do with you. Jan, as soon as she finds out from Mona, she ain't going to have anything to do. She don't want to have anything to do with you. I bet money if Leslie goes to that diner again, everybody there is going to ignore her the same way the folks at the country club ignore Haley. That's what it's going to boil down to. You effed up big time. Your plan was stupid. This family doesn't need to accept Eva because, yet again, she is not part. Just like Andre, she's not connected to the Duprees at all. Not connected to the Duprees at all. So literally, this whole plan of yours, except my daughter, no, they don't have to. They don't have to. So this was just so stupid. Choose silence. And then she got on up out of there. All right, folks. All right. So let's go over to Ted and Nicole's place because man, this was something else. I find it strangely ironic that Nicole was saying how I don't even know who this man before me is right now because of 20 years of lies and deception, Theodore. Oh, she used the government name. Also, I'm just going to put it out there. Okay, so today is the 5th. We get 2 episodes, the 8th and the 9th. Now, according to sources online, I believe the actor swap for Ted for Keith Robinson is going to be next Thursday, the 15th, if the people online are right. So I think this could be the final episode that OG Ted and Nicole share on screen time together. So it's actually strangely ironic that she talks about how I don't even know who you are. And theoretically speaking, the next time these two may see each other face to face, it will literally be because it's a different person. I think that's so funny. But like I said, I could be wrong. So Nicole, Ted could only say so much here. And he barely gets that out because Nicole, this was her scene. She is hurt. And like we were all saying, like the worst part about all this is the embarrassment. And this is a point brought home by both Nicole and Eva, especially Eva. The fact that on what was supposed to be a beautiful night, celebrating 20-something years of marriage, anniversary party, friends and family, it's a night no one will ever forget for all of the wrong reasons. All the wrong reasons. And what's even worse for Nicole is the fact that for these past couple decades, she's had friends and all sorts of people telling her, oh, I wish my marriage was as great as yours, to have such a loving man, a wonderful husband, father. And, essentially, Nicole was kind of up on her high horse, and for good reason, because Ted's actions matched his words, even though it was pretty much kind of a lie. But either way, he was basically practicing what he was preaching after having the affair. And even worse is the recent phenomenon of her going like, the way I was so smug and condescending to Danny after the whole Bill and Haley thing. Yeah, that bit her in the ass. But no, believe it or not, I still don't put Ted in the same category as Bill. Yes, both are cheaters, and I'm not saying one is necessarily better than the other in terms of cheating, but I'm just saying Ted only had one affair compared to Bill's number of mistresses, but at least he didn't have a secret baby that we know about, so there's that aspect of it. But yeah, Like I said in my video about will Ted and Nicole make it, I honestly think they can, but you got to look at outside factors like the family, her sister who just went through a divorce because of a cheating husband. So there's going to be a lot of people in their ear right now. So if it was up to just Nicole, I think they could make it work. But obviously there needs to be a period of separation in order to work things out. So from there, she basically calls him out for being no excuse for cheating. Like, I was suffering. My body was betraying me, and so were you. Oh, that hurt. That really hurt. Essentially, like, look, just because I was going through like those miscarriages and whatnot and wanting another child, that's no excuse for you going out there, jumping in bed with another woman. It's like, did you mourn the miscarriages we had? Yes. Oh yeah, but did you think about him when you were with that other woman, getting her pregnant? And like, he denies the fact that it might not even be my daughter. Wait till you see them DNA tests, Ted. Wait till you see the test. And he claims he never loved Leslie, but like Nicole said, well, how many other women were there? And it's like, wait, you know what? I can't believe anything you say to me right now. So also the fact that you trusted Bill to clean this mess up for you, but you picked Bill over me in terms of trusting when it came to talking about this ordeal. And we don't have much time left. What, you leaving? No, you're leaving. What? Well, for how long? Day by day. Essentially like, look, I'm not putting a time frame on this, but I know you have a few moments to get up and get out. And if I so much as smell your cologne in this doorway again, shoot, Nicole going to be spraying bullets rather than Febreze. I tell you that much. So yeah, Ted, before he leaves, he just says, look, if there's a way to back to you, Nicole, to back to your love, I'm going to find it. And look, I'll be at the hotel, and I hope you'll call. So Ted gets up and leaves, and he goes to the hotel. Now, over at the country club, Eva and Kat, just a phenomenal scene as well. So Kat delivers a banger of a line, a curbside delivery daughter. And that's when Eva shows the DNA test. And Kat straight up says, like, there's no forgiveness for hurting my family. And Eva low-key asks for understanding of, look at it from my perspective of my mom lying to me about, my dad walking out on us and wanting nothing to do with me. But I just found out that he didn't even know I existed. That is the only part I feel sorry for Eva on, but everything else I don't. And I love the dialogue in terms of the reverse fairy tale, where I thought I had the best dad in the world. You thought your dad hated you and your mom because he, walked out on you. But after everything that just happened tonight, it's flipped over where you feel like, oh, my dad is so great. Where I feel like my dad, who I thought I knew, is trash now. And I will give credit to Eva for this, because she begged Kat, look, I never had the chance to know my dad growing up. You had that opportunity. Don't let what you just learned tarnish the relationship you have with your dad, because I would give anything to have that. So I love that even in the midst of trying to get Kat to understand her perspective and, understand, hey, I'm not as evil as my mom. She wanted Kat to not sacrifice the relationship she had with her dad, because that's all Eva ever wanted. I thought that was beautiful. So when Kat takes a moment to, rip into, Leslie, that's when Eva clapped back. It's like, see, that's it. That's the true you right there. It's like you coming over here asking me to forgive you and this, that, and the third. But this is who you really are. Because when I caught you on that security footage being shady, and then you erased the footage, and when I told my parents, and then they sided with you, that look on your face right there, evil. I'm like, oh man. So it's like, look, but I love Ted and Nicole. You don't even deserve to say their names. You're dead to me. And Eva broke down. Oh, God. But the thing was, Kat told the truth. And this is why I don't fully feel sorry for Eva at all. You had so many opportunities to rip the Band-Aid off, to tell the truth before this entire fiasco that ruined what should have been, as I said before, what should have been a wonderful night full of love and family, laughter and joy. It's unforgettable, but for all the wrong reasons. You did that. You arranged this party. You did this. There's no coming back from that. Epic. Epic, epic, epic. All right, folks, we're rounding it up. We're almost done here. We're rounding things up. So Vernon, gathers the family and, they're worried. It's like, oh, Martin, and, I wonder what's Kat. And it's like Ted thinks that, Vernon thinks maybe Ted and, Nicole are talking things out right now. And, they're worried about the family, obviously. And I think my favorite line from this scene was it Chelsea or Naomi that said, I'm worried about Aunt Nicole because she's always been there for all of us. And it's like, I wish we can just go over there right now. And I love that because they took a moment to reflect on Nicole always being the rock, the emotional foundation for everybody in that room. And then the one time she's going through it, they want to be there for her, but it's like they don't know how because this was devastating. It really was. It really was. So Vernon, gives a speech reassuring that the family can make it through this darkness because truth be told, they always do. And then that's when Anita starts playing the piano and singing Amazing Grace. I gotta admit, this tweet is messed up, but I put it out there anyway. I said, you got a black family effed up when they singing gospel music out of nowhere on a weekday. Cause it's like they needed something to uplift their spirits after what they just went through that night. And I love how there's a montage going over to what the other characters are doing. As I mentioned before, you got Smitty and Martin picking up the books, and Ted, arrives at the hotel. He's just, devastated over what's been happening. Kat comes home and Nicole. I love these scenes where the acting tells you the story. You don't need any words. Kat comes over, hugs her mom, and gets a blanket, and they cuddle on the couch, and it's just sad. Oh, and then I realized, yeah, that's right, because Martin doesn't live there. He's with Smitty. So Kat, is over at the house to comfort her mom because she's alone right now. It's just her and her daughter since she kicked Ted out. And then that's when Eva gets home, puts the key in the door, then sees that it's locked. Mama! And you got Leslie in the kitchen sipping on some wine and just, looking. And then Eva, sad, so much for wrapping your arms around your daughter to love her. That was so messed up. So messed up. Eva was better off locked in the closet. That's honestly what I feel about this. Oh, man, folks, this was a phenomenal episode. It truly was. And hey, I took my time, and I think I covered everything. I think I covered everything from top to bottom. If I missed anything you wanted me to elaborate on, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I can talk about it in either another video between now and Thursday, or I'll mention in my episode 48 review. But as always, thanks so much for the people who watch all the way through. It helps out with viewer retention. And with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next video.